Welcome in, YouTube. Here's a lady. I do not know who this is. Her name is Eva's Binder. I assume she's very heavily into the cards. I saw this. It's called Why Modern Pokemon Products Will Never Hit MSRP Again. I'd love to hear this, and we don't watch Pokemon card content, but I do like to collect them from time to time. I'm not a huge collector. I just every now and then enjoy opening some packs. That's about it. But it's been blowing up. Like every couple years, it's just people obsessed with card opening packs, and then like it kind of goes away for a little bit. So I'm interested to see what she has to say about this. She'd have more knowledge than me about this. Oh, her video is low.
Hey guys, I'm Ava, and today I want to talk about why I think modern products, specifically Scarlet and Violet products, will never go below MSRP. For context, most Scarlet and Violet products are already above MSRP, despite being theoretically in print since they're less than 2 years old, which is the typical cutoff for Pokemon reprints, although this is not an absolute rule. Even brand new sets and upcoming sets are already above MSRP, and don't really seem like they'll get below that. In the US, the MSRP of a booster box is typically around $160, whereas an ETB is around $60, but we're seeing numbers way higher than that. Most booster boxes are already over $200, and a lot of the ETBs are crazy expensive. Even things like Obsidian Flames ETBs.
Yeah, that's 93. Holy crap. No, that's one of the reasons I stopped getting them. I went hard in like 2020, 2021, but then like they started raising the prices and it got ridiculous. Like people who were stealing full boxes, I don't condone it, but I understand it, and I don't blame you. Screw Walmart. Do not be selling me this box for like 70, 80 bucks. This is a box of cardboard cards. Come on, man.
Are almost $100. It's absolutely crazy. This is even crazier than the hype we saw in 2021 and 2022. So what is causing it, especially with specifically modern sealed product? First, I want to say that reprints aren't doing enough, and they won't do enough. But like, why is that? Well, first of all, distributors are charging higher prices. Pokey actually has a great video talking about this, which I'll have linked in the description. He gave the example that distributors typically give him enough room to get around 15% margin when selling at around or like a little bit below market, which could theoretically obviously be above MSRP. And
Yeah.
again, this is within the rights of the distributor to do because they don't have any formal agreements with the Pokemon company to not do so. Side note, there's a lot of witch hunting going on towards vendors or card stores that sell below market but above MSRP, which actually just discourages them from selling at that time and kind of reduces the circulation. In his video, Pokey rightly pointed out.
I mean, reducing the circulation would drive up the price of the cards, but like, it's artificial, so it won't last.
That he could either sell a box right now for a little bit below market but above MSRP, because again, the prices that are being paid pretty high, maybe above MSRP for a lot of vendors, but he could get roasted for a call to scalper even if his margins are really, really slim. Or he could put the thing in his basement for a few years, take it out, and sell it for a bit below MSRP in 3 years or 5 years, but be called a saint for doing so, even if he's charging, say, double the price. It's a bit of weird cognitive dissonance, but I think this behavior is extremely common. More broadly, this means that more...
I'm trying to figure out if that would make you a saint to hold on to it for a few years and then sell it below MSRP. Like, I don't think so, because there'd be a lot less people interested in it at that point, because in a few years they'd be on to the new set and everyone opening the packs from that.
More vendors are likely to hold things for the longer term and reduce the supply that's in circulation, especially given the high prices that are paid. And it's a lose-lose situation if you sell now, because you either sell at market and are a scalper, or you sell at MSRP and lose money. Aside from that, the types of people that have distributor access have really changed in profile in the last few years. There's a lot more online-only sellers, there's a lot more streamers, and there's a lot more people who just really like buying a lot of sealed Pokemon product and are able to get distributor permits for that, which really kind of changes the behavior in terms of distribution. I also want to note that there's a pretty big difference between Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield, which actually pretty frequently receive reprints large enough to get products below MSRP, even if it was for what felt like only a split second. Even sets like Evolving Skies were below MSRP.
Evolving Skies was a great set. All the evolutions in that, fantastic. Chef's kiss, gorgeous art.
At one point, which kind of sounds unimaginable now when you think about.
And I got my Glaceon, and that's all that matters.
Prismatic evolutions. Feels very unlikely for that to ever happen, even if they reprinted it to crazy amounts. It's also worth noting that at that time, there weren't nearly as many desirable products. I'm talking about like the first 2/3 of Sword and Shield. The last third, where you had those final 4 sets, were a lot more affordable. But within this area, there weren't actually that many desirable sets. You think Vivid Voltage was a pretty good set when it came out.
It was very cheap to find and easy too. You can get like a pack on Amazon for like $4. I don't know why it was so low, but you can get it was a good deal.
But then it just kind of got wrecked as alternate art started coming out. Battle Styles looked a lot better than Vivid Voltage. Chilling Reign looked better than Battle Styles. And of course, Evolving Skies absolutely changed the game and kind of reset the standard for what a good set was. At the time, sets like Fusion Strike and Chilling Reign were viewed as absolute crap, and so was
Chilling Reign wasn't terrible, but Fusion I did not like. It was nothing interesting in there. Like there was like a couple cards I kind of wanted, but it was really empty as far as anything that I needed.
Battle Styles. Even up until very, very recently, Battle Styles boxes were incredibly cheap and just...
Oh yeah, that's like the base thing you could find freaking everywhere. It was the cheapest one. Like as you go on Amazon, I had like ones that were cheap enough that you could actually afford them. Because like I have my Amazon wish list for people who want to get me like birthday or Christmas gifts in real life, and like the cheapest things I like to have anything from $5 to like one or two things that's closer to 100. No one's ever gonna buy me that. No one likes me enough to buy something like that. But the cheap things that were on there were almost always Pokemon cards, and Battle Styles was always the cheapest.
pretty looked down on, I would say, overall. All that's to say is that there weren't as many big reprints that were necessary, whereas now there's really high demand and a lot of really great sets out, so it's very difficult to balance reprinting all of those, because you could either do a very large reprint of one set, or you could do multiple smaller reprints of other sets, and I imagine there's also friction with changing back and forth, because obviously, you know, I don't think you can just, like, press a button and all of the printers are now doing, like, different things. Aside from there just being so many good products available right now, including a lot of extra special sets that are really good coming out,
I'm sorry, I'm also trying to see all the cool stuff in the background. Like, I see the evolutions back here, and I want that Glaceon. Kind of want that Umbreon and Sylveon, too.
first Pokemon boom was
This Entei looks really weird. I don't know what's going on with that.
in a much less efficient market. It's also worth noting that in the late 2020 to early 2022 period, most people with distro access were actual card shops, not investors, and there were fewer online shops. So overall, there was a lot less competition amongst people trying to get distribution access. The amount that you receive on average, I would imagine, is a lot smaller than it could have been back in 2020, because there was a lot of freezing of new applications for distro. Most of them required that you have an actual brick and mortar store, which locked out most people, but I imagine those constraints became a bit more lax in 2023 when the market was a bit more calm. Of course, we have to talk about one of the biggest things that has impacted the Pokemon market in the past few years, which is streaming. It's now
Streamers ruining everything.
possible to rip packs en masse for a profit, selling above MSRP, and while the group of people that can do this is relatively small, they have incredibly high buying power. We've effectively gone from two main options when you buy a sealed product, which is ripping for yourself or holding it and keeping it sealed.
A little bit of both for me. Like some of them, like whenever I would buy some, every now and then I would buy like another box, whether it be like the big box with like the 10 packs, or like just like a set box with like a premier card in it or something like that. And I'd keep, and like every couple times I would buy some for myself, I would hold one box and keep it sealed.
To now free options. We have
Still got them from back in 2020, 2021. Wink.
the first two, ripping for yourself or holding it to keep it sealed, but now we also have ripping for a profit, which was
Streamers.
not nearly as common back in 2020 and 2021. And again, I want to reiterate that most people don't have access to that third option, but that doesn't negate the fact that it has an incredible influence on today's market, even if you don't have that access.
It does keep it popular enough that they keep pumping out sets, and the value of cards does go up based on people getting hyped for it. So if you're ripping for yourself and you find a really good card, maybe you sell that and it lets you buy a couple more packs, or lets you buy a whole bunch. So it kind of works out in the end.
A lot of people probably know someone who'll pay really high prices for whatever sealed product they have and just cannot get enough of it. As most of you guys probably know if you've watched my videos before, I never advocate for buying into hype, so I really want to be clear with the intention of this video. My main point is that today's $200 box is an entirely different situation than 2021's $200 box. Also, I'm saying so many different years like 2020, 2021, and 2022. Really, I'm talking about most of Sword and Shield. One of the key differences here is that in 2021, some modern booster boxes were as low as $80, and those
In 2021, I was buying like, what was it, $40 boxes? If it got up to $80, I would not buy that thing. I'm not spending $80 on a box of cards. I cannot justify that.
Those were considered to be absolute crap. Nobody wanted to touch them. But now I think people have realized that today's crap is tomorrow's gold. So Fusion Strike, Fusion Strikeout, now a good set. Chilling Pain, Chilling Rain, also doing incredibly well. And even lowly little Battle Styles has finally had its moment in the sun. Now almost every single box is at or above 200 or very, very close to it, which means that they're all sitting around the same point, aside from a few products, most of which are actually the special sets and ETBs, or things that haven't come out yet. So we're not really going to count Destined Rivals, because it's not actually out yet. And of course, Prismatic Evolutions, which is the Evolving Skies of its generation, which is actually double MSRP. This represents a
Wow, double? Jesus.
systematic change and is really representative.
I don't think I've had any packs from Prismatic Evolutions. I don't remember, because it's been a while since I bought cards, and I feel like I'd remember that. Oh, jeez, what was the last pack I opened? Okay, I'm gonna have to go look in my set. It's behind me. There's a big shelf. I'll go look at that later.
Representative of the growing pains of the hobby right now, as we have to adapt to this new level of demand, which is not possible to instantly meet. Obviously, this isn't great because it leaves a lot of people feeling disgruntled because they can't get things for reasonable prices. Kind of sucks. Now, given this new standard of demand, I don't necessarily think it's unreasonable to buy a few boxes at these current prices. Normally, I used to always advocate for buying below MSRP, but I think a lot of these products will never get down to MSRP. To be abundantly clear, in this video, I'm not
Oh no, they will. They absolutely will. I mean, they're being flooded with them, especially like the streamers and stuff like that. Eventually, they're going to run out of room for holding that stuff, and they're just going to be like, I want to get rid of this. And then all the people that were hyped about it, whenever the streamers were opening cards, they're going to be like, oh, this is also taking up too much room. Holy crap. I need to get rid of this stuff. Basically, it'll filter out all the fake
in the long run. More so, I'm commenting on how I view the downside risk and opportunity costs associated with these boxes. So I'm not saying that these are incredible pickups, but I'm saying that if you just want to buy something and forget about it, I think now is not an unreasonable time to purchase these if they're things that you think are good.
Also, if you're looking to purchase these because you want to collect the entire set of the cards, you just thoroughly enjoy that, it is always, always, always cheaper to just buy the cards flat out. Like, it is much cheaper. If you like ripping the packs because you like the mystery and you want to see what happens whenever you open the pack, what cards you're going to get, perfectly fine. That's wonderful. But if you just want to collect the entire set and you don't really care about all that, buy the cards individually online. So much cheaper.
Has always been.
And you'll have a lot less duplicates lying around, taking up space. And send those duplicates to me because I make card collages.
An important topic to me, and is something that I think is too often overlooked in favor of the attendees to be made, which granted is definitely more fun. I view these $200 boxes as relatively stable, and that's big coming from me. I just don't anticipate a lot of reprints coming around that will slash prices by more than, say, 30%, except maybe in the case of a few very popular sets. It's hard to say. Even Evolving Skies was able to get below MSRP. So it is possible, but I don't know if the Pokemon Company is really incentivized to allocate that many resources to reprinting Prismatic
Destroy the says to meet the rich.
Evolutions when there's so many new hype releases coming out. Please do not FOMO
Take their cards.
to buying these just because I said that I don't think they'll get cheaper, and do your own due diligence on what you think will appreciate the most over your time horizon and what you're comfortable holding. Often I think the best strategies are buying what you like the most, not what other people like, and buying what is
Yeah, the only boxes I held on to were sets that I genuinely like. I also have a ton of like unopened individual packs of cards. I feel like I have more somewhere, but because I remember I went to go put them on the shelf, there was not nearly as I remember many as I remember having. I feel like something's missing somewhere. But I do have individual packs, and if one day I want to try and open the pack for something, maybe I'll open a pack to cheer myself up, or maybe I'll sell the packs. And some of them I could just give away as gifts if I forgot to give gifts.
generally overlooked. If these are products for you, heck yeah. If not, that's fine too. I will never tell you how to.
I may have used some unopened packs of Pokemon cards as gifts for my nieces and nephews because I forgot, or I was like, I don't feel like getting them anything. I don't want to go shopping for something and then paying for shipping or going out and shopping. So I just grabbed a couple packs of unopened Pokemon cards.
Spend the money that you worked for. Oh, also, this is not financial advice, and if you would like, feel free to please subscribe. I really appreciate you watching. This all sounds kind of crappy, right? But I actually do believe that there is light at the end of this tunnel. The $200 booster box will not always be the standard, at least accounting for inflation, and in fact, it can't be. Why is that? Not really an idyllic answer, but a practical one. The truth is, this would mean that the Pokemon Company is leaving money on the table. Talking more about the Pokemon Company and their incentives, while it's generally not a great business strategy to ramp up your production, hire more people, buy more equipment in terms of short-term spikes in demand, It does make sense to increase production when you see sustained higher levels. I don't know if we'll necessarily see the demand that we currently have, but I think certainly the floor that we'll have after this new boom will be higher than the floor that we had in around 2023 after the 2021 Sword and Shield main hype. And also, that was higher than in 2018. And I firmly believe the next floor will be higher than this one. I am bullish on Pokemon long term, but like all things, it's not going to be a straight lineup, and that's totally okay.
Oh,
and
yeah, of
actually
course.
creates a
That's
lot
how
of
markets
opportunities.
work.
What this means is that there will be times where new products are cheaper, even if they aren't necessarily the ones that are out today. Just like in Sword and Shield, they will increase print runs as demand continues to be higher. It's just not going to be overnight, and it's not going to be a super fun journey to get there. To reiterate my main point for this video and what you saw in the title, like
Market stability never is. Lay sigh.
you may never be able to get these Scarlet and Violet products below MSRP. You will one day be able to get new products at or below MSRP. These products will be printed more, and they will be printed to meet demand. I'm not talking about reprints. I'm talking about new sets that are going to come out, and those sets will be available at or below MSRP sometime in the future. It's hard to say when exactly, but I imagine within the next couple of years, probably around when Gen 10 starts. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think. I imagine this is going to be a more controversial one that will spark some debate, but I really welcome
Probably.
it
People take the cards very seriously in the Pokemon community.
and want to hear your guys' thoughts as well, especially if you have more insights into this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you liked the video, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.
Okay,
We
I
the hungry
absolutely paused
demand
that before you did that, but thank you. What do you do? Yeah, okay. Anyway, if you liked the video, give her a like and subscribe. She is Eva's Binders. I am currently in the way of her thingy. Eva's Binders, right here. Give her a like. Actually, I'm going to sub because I really like that video. And she was so knowledgeable about the Pokemon card like community and like the history of the Pokemon card sets. Anyone else kind of crushing on her? Jesus. Give her a like. I'm going to open this up and see what other kind of content she makes because I do want to watch more of her videos. I would love to learn more because I haven't found a channel that like exclusively talks about how to sell 10 Pokemon cards in under 1 minute. Okay, yeah, I would definitely watch more of her stuff. Evolving Skies and Fusion Strikes. Destined Rivals is not worth them. Ooh, hot takes over here. Okay, we're going to have to watch some of her stuff later. Let me take this off. Let me know down below what the last set was. Did you get any from the current set? Have you not done it in a while? What card were you looking for specifically in this set? Usually I'm looking for any of my top 10 favorite Pokemon, and if they're not like a full art card that I want, I'm probably not going to pull anything from that set, or I'll buy a couple packs whenever I'm bored or need to cheer up or something. And it's always nice to have extra cards for art because I do like to make Pokemon card collages every now and then. Sometimes I get inspired and then I just make like a couple in one day. It's really nice. It's very, very relaxing and therapeutic too. So give her a like and sub if you liked her. Give me a like and sub if you like me. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. It's rough out there. Mwah. Love it, nachos.